So hello and welcome. My name is Sasha Jeltuhin. I'm Technology Director of Global Partner Practice at Apprenda. And today we'll talk about CI/CD, or specifically about serverless CI/CD. So continuous integration and continuous deployment is a methodology, very useful methodology, that's designed to help companies quickly deploy software in a consistent way with confidence in product quality. It's a very helpful and useful process when it's done right. But there's a lot of complexities involved in implementation and along the way. And these complexities ironically create difficulties and inefficiencies that negate the intended benefits of the methodology. So let's look at how it works. Typically, continuous integration and deployment has multiple phases. The number of phases and their purpose may differ from organization to organization, but most of the time you will have more than one integrated dev environments. You will have more than one testing environments or validation environments of some sort, and you will have at least one production environment, in reality more than one. And each of these environments typically, and I guess intuitively, are supported by isolated environments, isolated infrastructures. And we can picture those as islands on this whiteboard, isolated pieces of land in the ocean, disconnected from each other. And the applications that go through CI/CD pipeline are like travelers, like island hoppers. They're brought to an island, stay there during the validation process, and then they move to the next island. So this is how it works oftentimes. So now there are a couple of issues with this approach. First, these islands are different. There are inherent, sometimes subtle differences in the infrastructure supporting different phases of CI/CD pipeline. Maybe network differences, infrastructures, servers, environments, and these differences may affect the consistency in application behavior. So in other words, what checks out in QA may no longer work in other phases. We may have false positives, or worse, we may get surprises when the application instance gets to production. Another problem is overhead. Unlike production, phases and environments in continuous integration pipeline are not always on. In other words, these islands may not always be inhabited, yet they're always there. The organizations have dedicated environments to support phases of the pipeline no matter how they're utilized, and sometimes they're underutilized or collect dust, yet organizations still spend time and money to maintain SLAs on those. So there are two issues, and let's look at the alternative. The serverless CI/CD with Apprenda Container Platform. So Apprenda Container Platform by nature is serverless. It's a container runtime that may span multiple hosts, physical or virtual, and this container runtime is offered to developers and DevOps to deploy applications. Everything in Apprenda, every application is containerized. And these applications can be isolated by deployment policies not to step on each other. So this foundation allows us to have a single runtime to support the entire CI/CD pipeline. And each phase of this CI/CD pipeline gets its own virtual logical environment, isolated securely from other environments by Apprenda policy engine, and oftentimes network level isolation. Each of these environments supporting phases of the CI/CD pipeline can be also elastic. Elasticity is inherent to Apprenda platform. Apprenda platform can scale application containers up or down depending on the load and how many applications we have on the platform. So it can also be applied to CI/CD. In addition to that, we also integrate with a lot of IaaS tools that takes this elasticity and benefits of the elastic serverless CI/CD to the infrastructure layer. Now, VMs to support each phase of the pipeline do not have to pre-exist. They can be dynamically created and orchestrated as the need arises. For example, QA environment, this logical environment within a single Apprenda runtime may not always be there. The VMs to support it may be created automatically and dynamically as soon as the first application enters the QA phase of the pipeline. Then the machines will be orchestrated, appropriate policies of Apprenda and network policies will be applied to them, and then containers will be orchestrated to test the applications. Then, if the application gets more load, more virtual machines can be created. And if virtual machines become idle, they can be wiped out, which improves efficiency and reduces management overhead. So in this case, no more islands, no more isolation, a single runtime, and this application, this happy rectangular guy in the shades, very cool shades, is traveling through the CI/CD pipeline, but at the same time, it stays in the same runtime, in the same environment, which means we have consistent behavior no matter what phase of the pipeline it's in. So it behaves identically whether it's in QA or in production. What does it do? It improves fidelity of testing. Last but not least, the same paradigm can be applied to DevOps tools. DevOps tools like your build servers, your performance testing engines, they can run in containers in the Apprenda platform in their own dedicated environment, which is also elastic. And there are benefits to that. The benefits are portability and high availability. Now that we can take your build server container and move it from one host to another host, the need in the maintenance window and the interruptions to your CI/CD pipeline are dramatically reduced, if not completely eliminated. So, in summary, the serverless nature of Apprenda platform, coupled with the deployment policies and integrations with IaaS platforms, brings back the efficiency and reliability of continuous integration pipeline. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for other episodes.